want to say is, if you continue to shoot the way that you're currently shooting, then you're going to continue to shoot at about the same percentage that you're currently shooting in. And there's nobody in here, even I know that Stephen has a very good shooting form, but even he's not at a 50% clip during games, right? Okay, so we all need to continue to get better. You guys are really close to the stage now where you're strong enough to shoot with the exact correct form. If you don't have, if you have the correct form, okay, if you do everything technically correct, it is impossible for you to miss to the left or to the right. So if you eliminate every time that you miss a shot to the left and right, so if you never ever miss to the left or right, does that make sense? That you want to shoot it with the correct form? Of course it does. Now what's going to happen is when you start to change your shooting form, and almost all of you will have to make at least some adjustments, some of you have to make big adjustments, you're going to get worse than you currently are. Because you've always shot the way you currently shoot, so you feel like, I make them a pretty good amount of the time. Okay, but we want you to get to a level that you never, ever, ever miss left and right. But in order to do that, you have to have perfect form. You have to do everything exactly correct. All right? So to teach you that, we're going to start with our feet, and we're going to work our way up, all the way up to the top. All right? So I think your legs and your feet are probably the second or third most important thing in your shot. Something I want you to think about. If I go and shoot a free throw, and if I sit down on one of those folding chairs, if I sit down, do you think I'm going to be able to get the ball up to the rim? No. I might be able to. You guys won't be able to. I might be able to, but it's going to be very challenging and difficult. So with that being said, what is the most important piece if we're missing shots short? It's your legs. Your legs. So if I don't have any legs at all and I'm just shooting, and most kids that I ask at this age, if I ask the question, if you miss a shot short, what's the reason? Most of them say, well, you've got to push harder. It's not the pushing harder with your arms, it's using more legs. Okay? So your legs, if you miss short, you need to use more legs. Alright, next. You need to make sure that your feet are square. For me, I like to shoot and I have my right foot slightly ahead of my left foot. Some of you might have it the other way around, but most players, if you're right-handed, have your right foot slightly ahead of your left foot. I don't really care. If you have both of them the exact same, that's fine. Whatever you feel most comfortable with. However, you should have them about shoulder width apart, so you're in an athletic position. You don't want to get too narrow. You don't want to get too wide. That becomes awkward. Okay, about shoulder width apart so that you're strong. Your toes, however, should both be facing directly toward the basket. Okay, you don't want your feet facing this way or this way. Okay, your toes should be straight. If your toes are lined up to the basket, then your knees are lined up correctly. And your hips, and your shoulders, and your chin, and your eyes. Everything needs to be in an exact straight line. The older you get, one thing that I see with some of our shooters that struggle a little bit is their head starts tilting. If their head tilts one way or the other, you can slightly off balance, and then you might just barely miss to the left or right. But if you're missing, it doesn't make any difference, right? You need to be on line. Okay, everything needs to be on line. All right? The next most important thing is the hand placement on the ball. You'll oftentimes hear coaches yelling to get your elbow in. I think that they're being misinformed when they say that. I think what they're trying to say is get your hand under the ball. So if I've got it this way, I want my hand directly underneath the ball. If my hand gets on the side, let's get the ball there with my hand. If my hand gets over here on the side, what happens to my elbow? It comes out. So what coaches are saying when they say get your elbow in, what they're really intending, I think, I'm saying is get your hand directly underneath the ball. What happens is if you get your hand on the side of the ball, think about this now, when I shoot it, if I'm here and I'm going up, that ball is going to come off of my fingers this way, and look at the rotation of the ball. Alright, you guys know, you've seen enough basketball, every great shooter has perfect backspin, perfect rotation. Okay? So you want your hand directly under the ball. Okay, and if you have it directly underneath the ball, your elbow is going to be in the right spot. You don't want it to be obnoxious and get your elbow all the way in. That's uncomfortable. Okay, so just get it so your hand's underneath the ball. With that in mind, then, you're going to shoot the basketball, and when you shoot it up, these are the last two fingers that should come in contact with the ball. And really, it ends up being this last finger that touches it, but it is these two. Okay, so when I'm here, my hand's underneath the ball, I'm going to go up, going straight up. These two fingers are going to be going, they're going to be the last two that touch the ball, and it needs to be in a straight line. Okay, a lot of you now, when you're shooting, the ball is going to go and it's going to come off of these fingers. And then the rotation of your ball goes this way, and you're going to miss slightly to the right. Okay, so when we get our hand placement on the ball, I highly recommend that you actually spread these two fingers out slightly. Okay, so get them spread out there, and you're going to have your hand underneath. I've worked with one player that he could not get his wrist back far enough so that the ball would always be like right here and it wouldn't sit on his hand. So then he couldn't go up and shoot it correctly. So he had to work on his flexibility like crazy. Okay, so you actually have to work on being able to have, you see how my wrist is back and it's almost a 90-degree angle from my wrist to my hand? That's where you want it, and that's where you want the ball to be set. Okay, next, you want to shoot the basketball up, not out. So if I go on the profile here, we don't want to shoot the ball from here and going out. You want it to go from here, watch my elbow and my hand and my wrist, up and straight up. Okay, you want to go and extend it up as high as you can. Okay, we don't want it to go out. The reason for that is, if you think about it, if we go and shoot the ball at an angle like this, the likelihood of it going through the rim, you almost have to be precise. You don't have any margin for error. The best angle to shoot your shot at is at a 45-degree angle. Okay, that gives you the best margin for error. So that way it can hit the rim and still find a way to get in. If you shoot it flat like this, you almost have to swish it. So in other words, if it hits the rim, it's not going to go in. So you want to shoot the ball up, not out. And there's another reason for that too, right? If you shoot it from down here and you're going out this way, your shot has a pretty good chance of getting blocked. Now, if you shoot it up, you've got a better opportunity for it to not get blocked. So shoot it up. You hear me talk about shoot the ball up, not out. Okay? So when we shoot it now, we're shooting it and it is in contact with these two fingers. And on these two fingers, we want to shoot, and this is where you can self-evaluate on every single shot. You want to shoot it and hold your follow-through until the ball goes through the rim or hits the rim all the time. Every single time. And then you want to check. Now when I shoot, I should have these two fingers extending down an imaginary line going through the hoop. When I was first taught this, I thought, well, do I extend my fingers out and then they go through and they touch the rim? You know, when it looks like it? No, that's not right because my hand's going to be out too far. You want to have it up here, but then you want to draw an imaginary line so it goes down and connects to the rim. Straight line. You do not want it going to the side or to this side. Straight down through. So when we shoot and evaluate, you're going to shoot it, this is where you should end up. And look at my guide hand. That does not move. Most of you, if not all of you, will shoot the basketball and your guide hand will get in contact. Your thumb will come in and you're going to turn your hand this way. And that means you've got two hands on the ball and you're shooting it with two hands. You're going to become inconsistent then. You have to do so many things exactly right if you're using two hands. Okay? So when I shoot it, want to end up just like this. And we talk about taking a picture. Okay? Snap a picture of this perfect form. This is how you should finish every time. And it's a really easy thing then to self-evaluate, especially when you're shooting on your own. Take your time, shoot it, hold it till it hits the rim, check yourself to make sure. If you miss it to the right, I can almost guarantee you can see, I followed through to the right. Oh, my thumb came down through this way. All right, so we want you to evaluate yourself as you go. Your legs, get everything in line. Put your hand underneath the basketball. Finish with these two fingers going through. And shoot the ball high. Shoot it up, not out. Okay? So that's about as simple as we can make it. What you're going to do right now is you're going to go do your swish drill. On your swish drill, you're going to get outside the lane. you're going to go up and you're going to do the things that we talked about. You're going to here, here. However, this time I do want you to use your guide hand. Use your guide hand and you're going to shoot it up. Okay, is it still running?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it running. Okay. Here, you're going to shoot it and you're going to hold your follow through. Then you want it to swish. You have to do 3 swishes in a row. Evaluate yourself. Now, if you have any kind of rotation on your basketball that's not exactly correct, you're doing something wrong. Get my attention if you need help, or even better yet, self-evaluate. Okay, what am I doing wrong? What piece did he talk about that I'm not doing right? Okay, so make sure that you're following through. Here, get your stance, shoot it up. You want to make 3 swishes in a row. Now that time I hit the rim, so I go back to 0. You make 3 swishes in a row. Once you make 3 in a row, take 1 step back, and then you're going. And tonight, that is going to be your homework as well. Okay, you have to do that tonight. 3 swishes, take a step back, 3 swishes. Are there any questions?